If you haven't heard about the 43 monkeys that escaped from a research facility in South Carolina earlier this month, well, it's getting a lot of national attention, even concerns from South Carolina lawmakers. But we're also hearing concerns here in Idaho. Tim, he sent us this comment. He said it's been days and they've not been found. Well, more than 7 to be exact. They said they are not infectious, but they're not telling us what kind of research they were doing on them. I'm scared they might have been doing AI research on them. I don't know what that means. And now they have escaped, and they can't be found, he says. And can you say Planet of the Apes? Is this how it all started? Get ready to have a collar and a leash around your neck, Tim says. Is this something you can research? Well, we can try. Okay, so Tim, first of all, let's take a breath. We do have some updates for you. Our sister station in South Carolina has been following this since it happened. The facility says a new employee was feeding the monkeys. The door didn't properly close, and that's when they all got out. They say all the monkeys are female, all under 7 pounds, so they're not very big, and they had not had any testing performed on them yet, so there's no medical threat to people living in the area. WLTX says officials, they set up traps. They've been enticing the monkeys with food. I've even heard Fruit Loops. That's kind of cool. As of this afternoon, about 32 of those monkeys have been captured, so they're not still running loose. They still have 11, though, that are out there, remain free. Now there are concerns about the facility, and the feds are getting involved. It's a whole thing. We understand. All of this is to say, I got us thinking about Idaho's own monkey business back in the early 1900s. A circus chimpanzee escaped. As Aspen Shumpert found out, it was later found, and that's how it became one of the first animals at Zoo Boise.
In the heart of downtown Boise, hundreds of animals are on exhibit.
Oh, look.
The zoo has been an institution in Boise for more than a century.
Boise Zoo is always fun for our little ones. Even if animals are sleeping, we like to walk around. Are they going to play?
Megan Brown visits the zoo at least once a season with her family.
The weather was so good we had to come today.
The first time today for her 3 younger kids.
Only imagine what large animals are like, but to see them, then they're like, oh. We saw the giraffe for the first time, and that was huge. They did not expect to look up. We only saw one monkey. He was in the tubes. He didn't want to come out and play.
Primates have always been a part of the zoo's collection.
We've had primates.
In fact,
the zoo started that way.
Or at least that's what Gene Peacock, the director of Zoo Boise, goes bananas for.
Every version is a traveling circus was coming through the area, and they left an animal. The most common version of it is it was either a monkey or a chimpanzee escaped, and it ran off into the hills. They found it a few weeks later, and that was how the zoo was born.
Back in 1960, Idaho statesman spoke to the man who says he found the circus chimpanzee between Mountain Home and Boise in 1917. Norris Fritchman said the chimp was sitting on a fence post. He says he was able to capture it with a simple solution: feeding it a banana. He found out a circus was on the nearby railroad tracks just the day before, but the circus didn't come back for the chimp. So he kept the chimp at his house for a month before giving it to the city, who then displayed it in Julia Davis Park for the summer.
The community found it and adopted it and took care of it.
That winter, the city got another primate, keeping them both together in what was called the day nursery of the municipal restroom, before they felt it was time to create a zoo and add more animals, like an alligator that, prior to being at the zoo, sat in the window of a Nampa drugstore. Later, tiger cubs arrived, and the zoo even got some bears. By the 60s, Peacock says,
and it started becoming a zoo proper and was the true beginnings of what we know now.
So, is it true a circus chimp started the zoo?
Well, that's what they say. That's what started it, and then they started collecting animals from there.
But it's hard to nail down if the chimp swung the zoo into action. The zoo says it was created in 1916, but Fritchman remembers finding the chimp in 1917.
It becomes urban legend, and it's hard to know exactly.
Either way, it's the story the zoo goes with.
Zoo Boise now has over 6 different species of primates, totaling to a few dozen primates at the zoo. And Director Peacock also tells me their 4 baboons actually were from research labs, and they did get them from research lab that was closing. So that's a little bit of another connection that the baboons at the zoo have a similar story to being at a research lab like the ones in South Carolina.
All right, safe to say there's a lot of things we love here in the Treasure Valley that was started by a monkey.